How's it going, guys, gals, and NB pals? I'm Alice Wonderland, your favourite Kiwi trans girl, and there are some really weird people out there. People that think and believe really weird things. Like, for example, that Elon Musk is a human. There are some people that take their beliefs so far that they think that the Earth is flat, which is at odds with my belief because I'm pretty sure that the world is my oyster. Well, today, for a little bit of fun, I thought we'd have a deep dive into this whole flat Earth idea. And we're bringing a special guest along for the ride. Let's dive in. Alright, here we are. Today we're looking at Flat Earth Clues Introduction by Mark Sargent. Now, I am familiar with the concept of Earth, and I am familiar with flat. But I am not an expert when the two terms are combined. So, in order to help me navigate this experience, I have enlisted the help of fellow Kiwi trans YouTuber, Planarwalk.
I'm here to ruin Alice's mental health.
You can't possibly be worse than the Geneva Tribunal in November the 16th of 2017.
You do remember the video that we just recorded over on my channel, right?
No, I do not. Maybe you should refresh my memory by clicking on this link up here. Okay, so, Planarwalk, tell me a little bit about Flat Earth.
So, it's the idea that Earth is flat.
What do you mean idea? Isn't that fact?
You're not a flat earther yet, are you?
I'm just playing devil's advocate. So, if the Earth is not flat, Planarwalk, what exactly is it?
Well, it is an oblate spheroid.
Neither of those words mean anything to me. Can you conceptualize this using Nerf gun terminology? Because that's all I understand.
Well, imagine if you were shooting balls. That would be the shape of the Earth.
Wow, so they're just like the Nerf rival line that shoots foam balls instead of foam darts. I don't actually have a rival blaster on hand, but this is what they look like, and this is what the projectile looks like. So let's zoom in. This Planarwalk is saying that this is the Earth. Now, who is Mark Sargent?
He is probably one of the most famous flat earthers. It's very surprising that there's a famous flat earther at all. You wouldn't think that they'd become famous because NASA has been trying to silence them nothing.
You can't silence the truth, which is why last week I got a cold and I couldn't talk.
Yeah, you've got the spirit.
Alright, let's get started. I have no idea what this is.
This is a Reader's Digest version.
I know what it is now. It's a Reader's Digest version.
For those who have already started seeing things with new eyes, it will be mostly a recap, but there could be a few new angles you haven't looked at. And that's where we start, because it's one of our two basic childhood facts. 1 + 1 = 2, and the Earth is a globe.
That is not a good arguing point. Oh, I wanna go. What was the meme? If the Earth was flat and a fish swam over the edge, where would it go? To outer space. Yes! What a meme! That is the best meme I have ever seen in my entire goddamn life.
I just want to ask you something. Did you think that the arguments would be good?
I was prepared to go in with open eyes.
We're taught this before almost everything else, and that right there should give you a clue on how serious this secret is. But for those who
Or
have forgotten
it's just
history,
not a secret.
here's the modified Men in Black version. For the first 4,000 years of our civilization, we believed that the Earth was a flattish disk surrounded by a solid dome barrier called the firmament.
The firmament.
Then, around 1514, a man named Copernicus created a new model of the world. He stated that if the Earth was spinning around 1,100 miles an hour and circling the sun at 60,000 miles an hour, the world was then round.
Whoa, hang on. Hold on a fucking minute. Look at the jaw on this guy. Whoa. Giga Chad. Holy f***.
Do you want to know something funny? He's wrong about when people stopped believing that the Earth was flat. Because it's been known that the Earth is a globe for like 2,000 years at least.
It's just honestly, why are you even f***ing arguing? Because at this point, if the main face of the argument you're trying to disprove looks like that, you are literally fighting the Giga Chat meme, and you have no f***ing chance. Give up.
It's like the 15th century Giga Chad.
It is. It's like the 15th century Giga Chad. I'm so distracted by the sheer enormity of this guy's jaw that I have completely forgotten everything else that has been said in this video already. I will trust that man with my life.
And while the math more or less worked, there was a problem. It was 1500.
Don't bring Bill Nye into this. What did Bill Nye do to you?
It was 1500, and the technology to prove such a theory wasn't there. The first balloon to carry people wasn't invented until 1760. Sailboats were the only travel over water, and the fastest thing on land was a horse.
What about my medieval aunt running? Oh, I don't know where I'm going with this. I was gonna make some fucking dumbass like my medieval ass running to the toilet or something.
But the new worldview was promoted and took hold. The religions adapted to handle the new reality, and life moved on. More importantly, the globe model was quickly introduced into the education systems. Over the next 500 years, the challenges to this model faded, to the point where the globe was accepted as universally as physical laws such as gravity. Read that again if you didn't absorb it. There was no proof.
What about fucking math? Is math not proof?
Well, I mean, technically it's evidence, right? Like, all the things that we've got is evidence. There's no such thing as proof.
These were the kids sucking d in the back of the maths classroom. These are the people that believe this shit. Are the ones that didn't pay attention to math and therefore think it doesn't make sense.
Are you assuming that they even went to maths class?
I'm also assuming that they had the opportunity to suck so...
Still, civilization had no way of proving the theory. Planes were invented around 1900.
Us, game over. Planes didn't exist, therefore the Earth was flat. Such an argument.
I mean, that's why it's called a plane, right?
Plane or walk?
It's planar walk.
Planar walk. You're walking along the planes though, are you not?
And I'm walking along the plains.
57, nothing could go high enough to give a true perspective of where we lived. The United States and Russia both sent up rockets high enough to take decent pictures, and what they saw scared them a great deal.
Oh!
How do we know they were extremely concerned about the sky? Because the US and Russia immediately started firing nuclear weapons straight up, and they kept firing for the next 4 years.
What?
A few things to...
What?
I think they
What?
I think they were trying to make a hole in the dome or something.
They fired nuclear weapons straight. It's called a rocket, man. They were just trying to see what was up there.
To be fair, like a conspiracy that makes a lot more sense is that they were fighting the aliens. They were trying to protect us from the lizard people.
Who is this man? Why has he put a green tick next to his name?
I don't know that!
First, this was now 1958. Nuclear weapons were very expensive and hard to come by. These also weren't those nominal yield 20 kiloton toys we used on Hiroshima. This was high kiloton to low megaton, and we couldn't get them up fast enough. And the strangeness continued in other places. In 1959, only a year into the atmosphere bombardment, 10 nations, including the United States, made Antarctica off-limits to any colonization.
It was the penguins. The penguins were too much of a threat.
Yeah, well, don't you know that there's, basically you got penguins with AK-47s guarding Antarctica.
They got more than AK-47s. Have you seen them do their little belly flop shuffle thing? That is the most intimidating thing I've ever seen. Can you imagine moving that quickly?
Did you see the debate between XQC and Ethan Klein?
No.
Basically, the most intimidating thing you can do is get on your stomach in some form or another. That's why XQC won that debate. He just did the worm and that completely destroyed it.
Put in place, and to this day remains intact. Over 50 nations now have signed off on this treaty. Do you know any treaty that has lasted that long between all industrialized nations? Moreover, do you know...
Bro, there's nothing in Antarctica. Why would they even want it in the first place?
The whole conspiracy is just wrong anyway, right? Because none of them have ever read the treaty.
any piece of real estate in the world that is owned by no one? The short version of the discovery is this. By 1958, the military had discovered the very solid upper and outer edges of our world and had to create a way to put up do not enter signs without looking obvious. It was tricky, but if there is one thing I have learned about the authority, it's that nothing is left to chance. The sky part of the dome was much higher than commercial air traffic, so the only thing they had to worry about there was the space program, which is immediately militarized. The outer border had the natural benefit of not only an extensive ocean, but a scaling decrease in temperature and a steady increase in iceberg frequency. This ocean and ice layout had worked well for thousands of years because the technology of the current civilization didn't evolve quickly. The brilliance of the design comes in the simple fact that human males are corrupted by power.
I've completely lost track of what's happening here.
Do you think that he even has track of what's happening?
I don't. I don't think he has any idea what he's saying.
Do you want me to tell you a little bit about the Antarctic Treaty?
Sure.
All it prevents is military occupation of Antarctica. It also means that anything you do in Antarctica, you gotta undo. Basically, it's trying to preserve Antarctica for scientific research, right?
Yeah.
Now, this means that if you pee in Antarctica, you have to take the pee back home.
Well, I don't think there's any reason that you should be taking methamphetamine to Antarctica anyway.
There's also no laws in Antarctica.
I'm going to Antarctica. The Geneva Convention will never find me.
I'm not sure about international laws. They may still apply.
I've discovered where I'm going to start my business.
Are you sure the femboys will be able to handle it though?
They can have extra thick made outfits.
Because usually when I see...
Have you seen how thick a femboy's thighs are? There is
Yes.
blubber in there. So where were we? He's saying that Antarctica, around the outer edge of the disk, meant as a barrier. You know what? That actually makes sense. What if it is a barrier? Just looking at this from a practical standpoint, if the world did just end, governments would have a reason to want people to not walk off the edge. And so Antarctica being the outer gate and slowly getting colder and colder as you go towards the edge, it makes sense. It would deter people.
Have you heard about Flat Feet Pete?
No.
Well, apparently he fell off the edge.
What a
because
f***ing loser. Wasn't looking where he was going.
basically, he just fell off the edge and was like, oh.
Corruption so total, in fact,
You used a picture of Frodo from Lord of the Rings to display corruption. This is a meme. This is satire.
Unfortunately, it is very much serious.
This dude is delusional.
perhaps an interdimensional being told the tale of what the world looked like. But this was all but dismissed, because even the most powerful leaders of the day couldn't reach the borders. And if they couldn't, what chance did the general public have?
Such a good point. It's all a diversion.
I mean, of course they're trying to deny the moon landings, right?
It makes perfect sense though, Planner. Seeing is believing. And you know what? I've never seen a curve.
But have you seen a picture of the flat Earth?
Oh yeah?
One that wasn't CGI?
Sure.
Show it to me.
No.
The best engineers, technicians, and pilots were recruited to the NASA space program. Once there, they were compartmentalized on a need-to-know basis. The astronauts know of the deception and are sworn to secrecy under the penalty of whatever motivates them. Private sector spacecraft are just not going to be allowed for several reasons. The most obvious is the collision with the dome itself. The telemetry data from...
Here's the thing. They make these people sound as though they're heartless and everything, yet they care about a company losing millions of dollars.
I feel like you can take this a step farther. You know, if seeing is believing and I haven't seen the curve, then maybe the Earth really is flat. But why stop there? You know, I've never seen Europe, and seeing is believing.
I mean...
Therefore, Europe does not exist. Neither does Italy.
What about the French?
The French do unfortunately exist. The mind control planet.
Okay.
The mind control. I don't even think America exists. The world, all in truth, and you're gonna hate me for this, and I'm sorry for sharing the truth with you because it will ruin your life forever, but the truth is that the world is literally just New Zealand and France. That's it. That's all we've got. Nothing else exists. I haven't seen it. Why haven't I seen it? You say you're from America, you're clearly a part of the simulation designed to trick me into thinking that America's f***ing real? Really? You're a f***ing loser. What a lunatic. Oh my god. Right?
Thank you. Finally, someone's saying it, because it's always, oh, New Zealand isn't real, but it's the only place that I know exists.
And France. But we don't talk about France.
These are the questions you should ask yourself and others if this protective layer is going to be lifted. I'd like to preface this with a thank you to Max Malone, a conspiracy hardcore who has a knack for boiling down debates to a single paragraph whenever possible.
That's not a good thing.
No, that's not a good
After
thing.
over 50 years and thousands of hours of space travel footage, both by NASA and other countries, there is no exterior shot where the astronaut completes the simple act of panning the camera 180 degrees, let alone a full 360-degree sweep.
Well, are they pansexual?
This has never happened on
it's
any
New Zealand.
mission,
See?
exterior
That
space
is...
station.
That is... Look! We were right!
See, so that means that the Earth is a globe, and New Zealand is the only country.
New Zealand is the only country that exists. And France.
Statistics will tell you that this would have already happened by accident years ago, but it hasn't, and it won't. This is because of the rule they cannot break. The same rule that applies to television set shows that never show the fourth wall.
So he says that it would have happened by now, that they would have turned it around. However, wouldn't the same go for if there were a fourth wall? Sure, they'd make more care not to, but surely they would have accidentally done it, right?
If other countries really did exist, they would have slipped up and we would have seen them by now. What am I saying? I'm getting confused. I'm confusing myself.
Number 2. When you search online for pictures of the Earth from space, 95% of what you will see is a collection of artificial composite shots.
Really?
Number 3.
Number 3.
The commercial air travel routes for the southern hemisphere
I've
are
got
wrong.
arrow.
Pointing to the...
This is an easy thing you can check
They've
out.
got arrows pointing to New Zealand and to France, probably.
That is actually pointing at France. That is actually pointing at France, yes. Oh my god. They're on to us.
We're being vindicated.
Take a map reading of the distance between anywhere near Australia and anywhere in South America. It's a straight shot across the South Pacific. Now find your favorite travel site and try to get there non-stop. See what happens. The routes start turning ridiculous. It's the one thing in the general public world they can't hide. The actual distance between these two places. On a round world, the flight is easy. Just a straight shot across an ocean. But on a flat world, it becomes the greatest distance between 2 points. There are no shortcuts. So they distract you with multiple connections and layovers.
This guy is so confused.
Like, there are flights from Australia to Johannesburg, for example. They exist. It's just not economically feasible to do that.
I know. It's madness. It's lunacy.
Yeah.
There are people who will tell you straight to your face that all the leaders of the world are lizards, and yet these people laugh out loud when you say the words flat earth.
I mean,
Dude, if the f***ing lizard people conspiracy theorists are laughing at you, you need to rethink your position.
I had a video recently about that exact thing, where this flat earther was talking to a conspiracy theorist, and the conspiracy theorist was like, nope, not wanting to deal with this flat earther right now.
I literally ran out of new tin hat topics to research, and I still wouldn't look at this one without embarrassment. But every time I glanced at
You
it,
should be
there was
embarrassed.
something unresolved. And once I saw the near perfection of the whole plan, I was hooked.
Oh yeah.
Ask the questions. Get past the possibility, and see if you can move into an even bigger picture.
I'm listening now.
Like who built the dome and why. That's where it starts to get really interesting and things start opening up. If that means we end up getting the attention of who or what created this place and forced the reset of the world, is that such a bad thing?
I thought the Great Reset conspiracy was a bad thing.
And just, I'm listening. His words have started resonating with me, and it's because he's misguided, yeah. But like, I can see in him the same drive that makes me realize that the rest of the world isn't real. And I know that if this poor lost soul just looked in the right direction, they'd maybe find something that's not complete and utter bullshit. Look into the maps of the world.
Okay, why did they leave New Zealand
Look
off it?
at this! This is erasure. This is a red herring. On thousands of maps, there is not New Zealand, but there are no maps with just New Zealand. And that's because they're trying to throw you off and make you think that maybe New Zealand is the one that isn't real. They're trying to get you away from the actual conspiracy. The actual conspiracy, which is that New Zealand is the only country that actually exists, and you're a f***ing muppet for thinking otherwise.
You realise Mark Sargent is American, right? Or American.
If you think New Zealand is real, hit the like and subscribe buttons. You can even ding the bell if you're feeling extra conspiratorial. You should check out Planner Walk's channel, link in the description. She has lots of awesome content debunking random stupid people on the internet. I've just been in a video on her channel as well. If you want to watch it, there's a link up here.
I have ruined her mental health.
It is debilitating. If you want to support my channel and help me pay for surgery, my Buy Me a Coffee link is in the description. And until next time,
How did I kick her out of her own home?